Archie is a comic series that's been around for like decades and decades, longer than all of us, and it kind of gives you an idea of like the tone in terms of like, you know, what to expect from an average Archie story. So going into this television series and your characters, what were your reactions when the show was a lot more grounded and a lot more modernized, and your characters had a lot more kind of dramatic heft? Like, what was your reaction to that?
I personally was very happy about that. I'm not too much of a comedy kind of gal myself. So when I got the script originally, I, obviously analyzed it as an actor would, and then I read it as Cheryl, and I realized that they gave her so much depth and so much purpose. And in the comics, they kind of make the girls ditzy in a way, like they kind of wishy-washy, like I don't know which guy I want. And every girl on the show is so strong and so independent. And even Betty and Veronica, like we're all here as our own entities first, and then we bring the men into it later, which is kind of a nice adaptation.
Yeah, I would definitely, it's basically the same sentiment. I grew up reading the comics, and it was very happy and campy and always, we win the day, like nothing ever bad happens. And reading the comic, reading the script, it wasn't difficult for me to wrap my head around what was happening. It's not hard for me to imagine Archie in these situations in 2016 now, because we've gone through and we've dealt with them, and each character is so relatable no matter what situation you put them in. It's easy to believe, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So this question's for Ashleigh. Now, obviously, your character is very musical. What would you call your style of music? Like what?
Well, we're still definitely developing it since we've only done the pilot. But right now, she's kind of like Kesha with a little bit of Demi and some zhuzh. It's definitely like kind of like a girl's anthem. You know what I mean? Like it's not really sweet bubblegum kind of anthem. It's like, yeah, we're gonna rock this. Like I know you want to go home, but I have one more song, and everybody's gonna remember that song. Like nobody wants to leave if we're willing to play an extra set. You know what I mean? So we're definitely, party rocking people pleasers, but also very staunch in that kind of girl power. We got this. Don't worry about it.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm excited to hear more.
It's gonna be. I'm so pumped to record more music. Yeah.
In the pilot, if there was one person I think could be able as an antagonist, it might be Cheryl.
Might be.
Maybe. in that way. So when they approach you, are we going to see more from her than just kind of her being the, quote unquote bad guy? Is there more of a three-dimensional persona behind that kind of like villainish?
Right. So when I got the breakdown, it definitely like they kind of break it down for you, and they're like, "This is the lead villain of the show," and I'm like, "Great, always want to play the villain." And then when I got on set, we had this great conversation with Roberto. I was like, "I need more than that. I don't want to be this one-dimensional human." And it kind of breaks down over the course of season 1 when you see her crack about the death of her brother, and whatever may have happened, it really affects her in a way, and you see why she lashes out at people, and you see the relationships that crack behind the surface with her parents and the way that she's treated, and you kind of understand so much more why she's the villain, which I think makes it so much juicier for me to play.
And since Josie has kind of a perception as a really strong musician, you're a very strong presence as Cheryl. Are they going to kind of get good heads through this?
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
It will be a fun sass-off, I'll tell you that.
It really would, because we, are elite in our own right. I walk in this kind of bubble where nobody can touch me and everybody knows what it is. And it's the same thing with Cheryl, but it's kind of with a different situation. She comes from this regal background, money, and it's not that I don't come from money, but I've kind of built this empire where there's the same type of respect. Like, you don't mess with them no matter where they are. That's a pussycat, and no matter where Cheryl is, you better
I feel like we have a respect for each other, like a mutual respect, maybe just not cross any of those territories. I hope that comes to an end soon.
Yeah, I hope there's a way where somebody needs something from somebody else.
So we were talking to KJ before, and I asked, who do you think is going to be the murderer? And he mentioned,
I know who he said.
So, do you want to be the murderer?
Pardon?
Do you want to be the murderer?
Yes and no. As Madelaine, I absolutely do want to be the murderer. I think it's a much more fun role. As Cheryl, I don't think she wants to be the murderer, but none of us know is the thing, which just makes it so much more fun. So I very well could be the murderer, and I have no idea.
That's what's so exciting about all this. You know, we have all these
Right.
questions about, you know, what do we think of the series as a whole, and we've only shot the pilot, and that was back in like March.
Right.
So, you know,
We just have meetings. And
yeah,
stuff, like
we just
writers
had,
meetings.
like,
right.
you know, we're still fleshing out, and that's what's really nice about the team that we're working with, specifically Roberto and the rest of the writers, is they are very much interested in our input and where we'd like to see the characters grow. We kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and then as they get to know us, it'll continue to build
Right.
out, and there's definitely going to be a building out of each character. You know, you're going to be able to see different episodes and vignettes of people's lives, and it's going to get you to understand
Riverdale.
what it is
Yeah.
to be in Riverdale.
And how much music do you think is going to be in the show?
Oh, a lot.
It's going to be a heavy underlying tone.
Yeah, you know, and it's not going to be like Glee. Like, we're not just going to break out the song, you know, mid-math class. You know, it's going to be a part of the show the way that, you know, music's a part of Empire. So by the end of the season, we're hoping to have like a full EP of Josie and the Pussycats and Archie and his garage band.
Any Sugar covers?
I mean,
There's a secret, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And that's all I can say.
All these recorders are actually off, so your secret is safe with us.
Something exciting will be happening in an episode soon. That's all I can say.
Okay.
oh, I think I know what it is.
But you don't.
I bet I don't, because everybody knows. Like, I got here this morning. People have secrets since yesterday. I don't.
Just like the real Riverdale.
That's exactly right. You get it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.